and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I am here with a rather informative video talking about the differences between your dominant planets within your birth chart and your dominant signs within your birth chart. So I made a video last year about the dominant planets and signs, and I was talking about my own dominance within my birth chart. Now, if you do watch that video, you might notice that what I'm about to say today within my own birth chart may differ. That's really because in that video, I was going by the whole sign system, but in this video, I'm talking about the Placidus system. So we're going to get into this and we're going to go through what I think the main differences are. The reason why I'm actually making this video is because you guys have been asking me. Yeah, you've been commenting on that video that I made, you know, asking questions such as, well, why is it that my most dominant planet is Pluto, but yet my most dominant sign is Aquarius? And well, Uranus and Saturn rule Aquarius, not Pluto. I'm also going to be talking about the chart ruler as well, so we're going to throw in the chart ruler along with these dominant planets and signs, and I'm just going to explain what the differences are overall. Okay, so firstly, the chart ruler. I have talked about the chart ruler before. I actually made a series all about the chart ruler within your birth chart, so please be sure to check out that series if you have not already. But just to really go over it again, your chart ruler is based off your ascendant/rising sign, and it leads your chart forward. See, the rising sign represents how you see the world and how you go about fitting into the world. It's your rising sign that really sets off on this journey towards becoming your sun sign. Basically, the rising sign maps out your life path. Therefore, it is the chart ruler, the planet that rules that sign, okay, that shows you how your rising sign may seek expression. It shows you how then the story unfolds for yourself. So say, for example, you have a Libra rising, that would mean that Venus is your chart ruler because Venus rules Libra within astrology. So you're going to go to see where Venus is placed within your birth chart. Say Venus is placed in the sign of Sagittarius in your third house, then it's really seeing how that placement plays a rather important role within your life, okay? It's sort of leading, as I said, it's leading your chart forward. It's leading this story forward, and how that story is expressed and how that story unfolds for you. However, your dominant planet, okay, your dominant planet has the most influence in your full natal chart overall. It represents the main energy manifesting into your personality, showing you what part of your psyche is the most prominent and powerful in your life. You may not feel the effects of your dominant planet as much as you feel the effects of your chart ruler, because many parts of your chart are left rather unconscious or hidden, especially if you have many planets in your 4th house, your 8th house, your 12th houses. Though still, the same could be suggested for your chart ruler. Plus, if you do have interceptions, that can also, or they can also play a role as well. I might actually make some videos explaining interceptions, so yeah, I know some of you have been asking about that, so who knows, who knows. But overall, these parts, though unconscious or hidden, they still contribute to your dominant planets. So I'm just going to use my own chart for an example here. There are other examples that I'm going to be talking about throughout the video, so just stay tuned. Now, my chart ruler is Mercury because I have a Virgo rising. My dominant planets are Mercury, Uranus, and the Sun. Then my dominant signs are Aquarius, Capricorn, and Leo. But what's quite interesting about this is that both Aquarius and Capricorn make up around 20% each of my chart. So with this information then, you probably gathered that both my chart ruler is Mercury and my dominant planet is Mercury. Not only does Mercury lead my chart forward, but it's also the planet which influences my chart the most. So just to touch on the chart ruler quickly here, okay? Because I have a Virgo rising, Mercury is basically showing me how and where I go about learning and gaining knowledge constructively and practically, how and where I analyze things, how and where I process information and communicate. Okay, so because my dominant planet is Mercury as well, the placement of Mercury will then show me how and where Mercury is manifesting in my personality overall. So if I look at my chart, I will see that Mercury is in the sign of Aquarius in my 5th house. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be talking about having my Mercury within the sign of Aquarius. If you want to see the full description of Mercury and Aquarius in my 5th house, then check out my Virgo rising chart ruler video for that full description. Okay, so what is the difference here between the chart ruler and your dominant planet? When it comes to the chart ruler, it's my rising sign that is adding an extra flair to my placement of Mercury, because my rising sign is in Virgo and Mercury rules Virgo within astrology. Therefore, this is a combination of the Virgo rising with the Mercury in Aquarius, suggesting, right, for myself, that I possess a need to analyze and observe others. What's interesting is that both Virgo and Aquarius, they're like this. They both like to analyze and they both like to observe. And whilst I am very quick and alert, I'm not usually the type of person to speak until I know that I've thought everything in my mind through constructively, which is very Virgo. Basically what I'm trying to say is that there must be a point that I'm willing to make. Now, it doesn't mean that growing up I didn't get involved in so many intellectual debates. Sometimes actually I would have just disagreed with others for the sake of disagreeing with them. It was definitely my Aquarius energy coming through. But essentially how I construct my information, Virgo, is done so progressively and in a very unique way, Aquarius. However, guys, when it comes to my Mercury dominant, we aren't so much focusing solely on the rising sign / Virgo energy anymore along with its placement. Yes, the chart ruler shows me how my Virgo rising seeks expression as I analyze and observe others like crazy, but my dominant planet, it shows me how the mercurial energy is being manifested into my overall personality. And this is why you see on social media the whole insert planet here dominant, you know, those memes that you get, because the dominant planet, it manifests itself into the person's overall demeanor. Therefore, because I am Mercury dominant, it could be suggested that I am rather restless, I'm quick-minded, nervous, that I enjoy learning and discovering new information and people, that I love to read, listen, teach, write, that I like to come up with many suggestions and ideas, that I'm very curious, that I'm highly intellectual, and that I take in so much information like a vacuum. And because of this, I always have many different perspectives to share about things. But when it comes to the dominant sign, because I know you've been waiting to hear about the dominant sign, how does the dominant sign play a role in all of this, Hannah? It's the dominant planet that plays out through the dominant sign and then is manifested into your overall personality. Now, because my dominant sign is Aquarius, guess what? It's Mercury playing out through Aquarius and is manifesting into my demeanor. Now, of course, it's good to investigate the whole chart. And so by looking at my own chart, I have Mercury, Sun, and Saturn in Aquarius in my 5th house. Aquarius is ruling my 6th house, and the 6th house is home to Virgo within astrology, right? So maybe noticing some connections here. Then when I look at my 11th house, because the 11th house is home of Aquarius, my 11th house is ruled by Cancer in my chart. So sure, I am taking in all the information and the data, but I'm also taking in the emotions of groups, associations, and friends, and I'm absorbing them. But also keeping in mind here that Cancer is the sign that rules the 4th house within astrology, and the 4th house is an unconscious house. So could it be that I'm not even aware of the fact that I absorb the emotions of people that I choose to associate myself with, that I'm not aware that it's even happening? I also have many aspects to my moon placement, which is in my 8th house, another unconscious house, along with Venus, Neptune and Uranus all in my 4th house. You may be starting to see how one placement, just one single placement, can filter into the next thing, then to the next thing. And that's the thing about your entire birth chart, is that it is this jigsaw. I've said this before, it is a jigsaw, and everything just connects in, just clicks in. It's, you know, if you really study your chart through and through and you see the dot to dot process, that's another thing I've talked about before, calling it a dot to dot exercise. It is just fascinating. Overall, guys, it could be suggested that the part of my psyche that is the most prominent within my life is this Mercury in Aquarius in my 5th house. My 5th house then being ruled by Capricorn, adding a rather cautious approach to fully expressing my unconventional thoughts and ideas. But by continuously building on them in the background, when I do eventually express them, when I do eventually speak, the communication will be powerful. That I can bring this power of speech into acting, into script writing, into teaching, to my videos, into my romantic relationships. Alright, so looking at another example here. I actually looked at this chart recently and I spoke with this girl about her chart in person as well. So this person, her chart ruler is the moon because she has a Cancer rising. Now she told me that she can't seem to identify with being a Cancer rising. So let's assess that. Let's assess why that might be. Her dominant planets are the moon, Mercury and the sun. Her dominant signs are Virgo, Aquarius, Libra. So as you've probably noticed, her chart ruler is the moon and her dominant planet is the moon as well. Not only does the moon lead her chart forward, but it's also the planet which influences the chart the most. Touching on the chart ruler then, the moon will show her how and where she will live out her life instinctively and reactively, how and where she is sensitive, and how and where she wants to feel secure and cared for. Because the dominant planet is the moon as well, the placement of the moon will then show her how and where the moon is manifesting into her personality overall. Looking at her chart then, she has moon in Libra in her 5th house. However, she has Libra and Aries intercepted in her chart, meaning that the moon is being intercepted here. So whilst yes, she has a Cancer rising, maybe it could be suggested that she isn't as in touch with her emotional nature because of this moon interception. Her emotional freedom of expression might actually be blocked here. Perhaps during her childhood, maybe she wasn't always allowed to express or be in touch with her emotions, and so this repression can lead to health issues that are connected with the emotions. Furthermore, with this Libra interception, along with then Virgo ruling her 5th house, it could be suggested that the critical tendencies of Virgo, they might prevent her from accepting people and conditions. In fact, this overly critical behavior, it might keep her from relating, sharing, and cooperating successfully with others. It could be suggested that the need for approval through service and trying to do everything perfectly, these things might prevent her from sharing. Now, like I said, Aries and Libra are both intercepted within her chart. So whilst yes, she might have a strong desire for relationships, it's not something that she really got to experience growing up, and that either she could give too much or take too much, perhaps because she wasn't really taught what was other people's and, well, what was hers. And after speaking with her, actually, she informed me that she's never been in a serious relationship. So you can kind of see how this interception has manifested and played out within her life. Perhaps you're wondering, what does that mean now that her chart ruler is intercepted? Does it still lead her chart forward? Well, I think that yes, it does. But it's about her learning how to implement the moon into her life. It's about her learning how to unblock any emotional blockages. I still think that this is possible through the placement of her chart ruler itself. Because, I mean, she still has her moon in Libra in her 5th house. The energy is still within her. it's just blocked. So perhaps for her, some key factors could be her learning to relate and share and cooperate with others. She can do this when she learns to not be so critical of herself and others. Maybe it would be good for her to really listen to others. And she does also have Leo, a Leo IC, placing a significant emphasis on the home and her inner world. It could be suggested here that she feels that other people can't quite relate to her inner world because of how grand it is. So still, going to others for advice is something that could provide her with support. It just maybe feels as though she wants to truly be listened to. Maybe for these reasons, she instinctively feels as though she wants to be around other people, but she doesn't quite know why. And while she might not be great at sharing with other people, maybe she will feel a sense of comfort and emotional security if she learns to share with other people equally. Maybe this emotional receptivity will be felt when others and herself are, when they're being treated fairly. And I do also think that by her listening to others and providing them with advice, it could be a good way for her to create peace and harmony within the atmosphere, which in turn might help her feel more emotionally secure. Furthermore, because her moon is in her 5th house, emotional unblockages may come through her need to create. She actually told me that she goes to gigs and she will do reviews on these bands and performances. Maybe for her, these reviews are her way of expressing herself, but at the same time, she feels comfort in knowing that she is surrounded by many people. And this action in itself is creating peace and harmony between herself and others. I also think that writing reviews is a great way to provide a fair evaluation. So it's sort of going back and forth between the highlights of the gig or the set. I do think that this is a rather interesting combination with having the moon in Libra in her 5th house, but then Virgo ruling the 5th house, because whilst Virgo wants to critique things and is great at doing reviews and being the sort of critic, right? I imagine food critics being related with Virgo energy, but the overall analysis of going to a gig and experiencing it and then going back and forth between, these were the things that were great, but these are also things that perhaps maybe could have been improved, and that's a very balanced outlook on it. So for her, actually, she was saying that she does write. She is a writer, and I think she was saying that she wants to be a journalist. That's what she wants to do. What's interesting about that as well is she has Jupiter in her 9th house. So yeah, publishing and everything like that from the 9th house. Yeah, that's just a couple of things that I noticed. Perhaps as well, her hobbies are what remain rather central within her life. Maybe for her, going out and having fun could be one of these hobbies. Maybe designing could be another one, or like I said, writing, creating art, going to fashion events. Maybe even her hobbies are her emotional outlets, so to speak. Though, like I said, Virgo is ruling her 5th house, so even when she is going to have a good time, she still wants to make sure that all the details of the evening are well planned and are carefully thought through. Now, I also think that aspects to the moon can help unblock these emotional blockages, as well as looking at where Cancer is placed within her chart, and Cancer is ruling her 2nd house, meaning that Cancer is a duplicate sign within her chart. And it's also about looking at the 4th house, because Cancer is connected with the 4th house within astrology, naturally. I'm not going to get into all of the information there, but this is just a, I suppose you could say, template to help you guys assess your own birth chart, to assess interceptions and assess your chart ruler and assess your dominant planets and signs. Like I said, the moon is her chart ruler and it's the most dominant planet as well, meaning that the placement of the moon will show us how the moon energy is being manifested into her personality overall. But again, the moon is intercepted, which is also why it's very important that she finds avenues within her chart to express this energy. When it comes to her dominant sign then, remember, the dominant planet is playing out through the dominant sign, and is being manifested into the personality here. Now, her dominant sign is Virgo, and she has Sun, Mercury, North Node, all in Virgo in her 4th house. Could it be that she feels more Virgo moon, sort of more critical than cooperative with others as discussed? Could it also be that the part of her psyche that is more prominent in her life is this moon placement, as it's showing her a part of herself that she perhaps is not seeing? I mean, the moon is an unconscious planet, and having it intercepted whilst it's your chart ruler and your most dominant planet, it might make it slightly more challenging to get in touch with. But the way she is trying to get in touch with it is very Virgo, trying to explain her emotions with reason and how useful they are, rather than sinking into the depths of them and not really knowing how to respond to others when they are sinking into their own emotions. So perhaps by her practicing the things that I've talked about throughout this example will be a healthy way for her to implement her Libra moon-like qualities, where she can be the mediator and the counselor and the friend who gives the best advice. Yet perhaps this Virgo energy is making her far too hesitant when it comes to offering advice to others. Maybe she feels that what she has to offer won't be of much use to certain situations. Therefore, it's about her learning to be more trusting, to trust more in her own capabilities rather than constantly criticizing them and critiquing them. We're going to be looking at my friend's chart, and she has a Libra rising, meaning that Venus is her chart ruler. Not going to get into the information about that, so if you want more information, just go to the Libra rising chart ruler video. Her dominant planets are the Moon, Mars and Saturn. Her dominant signs: Cancer, Sagittarius and Capricorn. Plus, there's no interceptions for this person. So whilst the first example that showed someone with their moon intercepted whilst the moon is their dominant planet, this example is showing someone who does not have their moon intercepted and the moon is their dominant planet, plus Cancer is their dominant sign. The other example, Virgo was the dominant sign. This one, Cancer is the dominant sign. Therefore, it could be suggested that this person exuberates so much of that moon Cancerian energy. They do also have both their sun and their moon in the sign of Cancer in their 10th house, meaning that they have a Cancer midheaven as well. Plus, their sun is conjunct their midheaven. So this energy is playing out through an angular house, this 10th house of public recognition, meaning that this Cancerian energy is very obvious to the public as well as herself. The last and final example then, guys, we're going to use my brother's birth chart. He has a Capricorn rising, meaning that Saturn is his chart ruler. We're going to see where Saturn is placed in the chart. How does Saturn lead the chart forward? Go to the Capricorn rising chart ruler video to check that out. His dominant planets: Pluto, Moon, Mars. His dominant signs: Scorpio, Pisces and Aquarius. So again, guys, the dominant planet and sign are essentially the same in that regard, because Pluto rules Scorpio within astrology, and yeah, it's synchronized again. My brother then has his sun and Pluto in Scorpio in his 8th house. The 8th house being the home of Scorpio. So you can see how it's all connecting and it's creating this burst of the Scorpio Plutonian energy all at once. Okay guys, so that was just a few examples that I wanted to go over within this video, explaining then the differences between your chart ruler, your dominant planet and your dominant sign. I hope that this video made sense, that it was informative, that it was, yeah, it was understandable overall and easy to take in and process, and it provided you with clarity when it comes to dominant planets and signs. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and yeah, I will be back with more informative astrology videos to help you learn about astrology. Yes, very, very soon. Bye!